We have some bad news, some sad news. Always
Yeah.
end on a somber note.
Hmm.
Len Wein, famous comic book writer, creator, uh, known more specifically because he was one of the co-creators of Wolverine, also one of the co-creators of Swamp Thing,
Hmm.
and a bunch of other characters. A crucial writer in pretty much the all new, all different X-Men, which means Storm, Nightcrawler. He was very very important in the comic book world, but also why we bring it up here was he was also important in the Transformers world, where he was a writer for 4 episodes. Where in the original G1, he did Web World, which was a season 3 episode with Galvatron. He did Tangle Web within Beast Wars, which was
Hmm.
the famous episode with Tarantulas. He did the famous Savage Noble episode, which debuted Savage Noble. And then he did recently, not too long ago, he did the episode Cover Me in Robots in Disguise 2.0. So he was across Transformers' 30 years of fiction as a writer.
Yeah.
Not many writers could say that on an animation standpoint that have written Transformers in 4 different iterations over its 30-year span. I think Simon Furman never got to write G1 in an animation standpoint. Simon Furman never got to write Beast Machines. He never got to write a lot of stuff. He got to do Beast Wars,
Yeah.
but and that's someone that we same thing. James Roberts, that a lot of people love, never got to write anything in animation yet. So Len Wein really got that honor to be able to do a lot of stuff. And he passed away, by the way, at the age of 69. So he was still young. You
Yeah.
know, it's a real shame. And I was very lucky and fortunate enough to meet him many years ago. I met him in, I want to say it was 2009. I saw him at Fan Expo Toronto, and I brought him a lithograph
Hmm.
of pretty much had all the title cards of all the Transformer stuff he did, where it would be like, the name of the episode and him credited at the bottom. So I got him to sign that, and I got him to sign a print that had him and Chris Claremont on it, because those are two people that I always credit with making Wolverine awesome.
Right.
So
Right.
I wanted to have both of them together on this print, and so I got him to sign those two things, and he was hilarious. And I found it weird because his line wasn't even that crazy at Fan Expo.
Uh huh.
But I guess it was kind of before the big, geekish chic boom, I guess.
Probably.
But
And probably
uh,
people didn't know.
yeah, maybe it's maybe. Well,
I
it's
mean,
funny because
like,
I'll
was
give.
this before or after Hugh Jackman started playing Wolverine?
Oh, this is way after.
It was
Um,
after. Okay.
this is way after, but it's just. I think it's just more. Maybe people just didn't know who he is. I
Yeah.
guess.
Probably.
He kind of just looks like an old dude. So sometimes people don't make that. And Fan Expo people usually go for celebrities.
Yeah.
So, but I'll give a shout out. I guess I was in line with fellow TFCon regular Christina,
Hmm.
and I felt like we were like the only two people that kind of knew who he was. And Christina got this really good photo of me with him, which I totally forgot even existed. And
Oh,
when he
that's
passed
amazing.
away, she sent it to me as a
Aw.
reminder, and she was like, "Hey, I have a photo of you with him." I'm like, "Really?" I totally, because I didn't take the photo, she did. So so it's really cool, and he was hilarious because again, because there was no crazy line, you were actually able to talk with him for a bit and get a nice photo op together. Normally, I don't do photos with a lot of celebrities unless it's like, oh my god, I gotta get a photo with them. But because he was just so not busy, I was like, hey, sure, I'll get a photo with you. And he was hilarious. So he was really funny. He was very talkative, very cool guy. I find a lot of guys who are Marvel writers, they're
Mhm.
either super cynical, like, and I've met a few
Because
that super cynical that everything that they've created now makes billions of dollars and
and
they're
they see no
angry.
red cent of that. I can kind of
And I
agree
could
with that.
understand that. I could understand that.
It's
I don't
completely
want to name names,
understandable.
but there's a few that I could think of that I've met that are just not happy campers. And then there's guys that are the opposite of it, that they're so happy that something that they created or contributed to is now a national phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it just makes them feel good inside, where it's not about the money.
Yeah,
It's
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 about
about
that's
that
my
they
legacy.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
me. That's part
and
of me out
and
there,
it's
you
and
know.
and forever people will look up Wolverine, and within the first paragraph your name will be there.
Yeah.
Like, you could say what you want about Rob Liefeld, but that guy made Deadpool, and
Exactly.
it'll,
Deadpool, Cable, X
yeah.
Force, all of that.
So, like, that's just it. And so Len was just probably one of those guys that it wasn't about the money and the millions of dollars that Wolverine. I mean, look at Wolverine, like, came out essentially like late 70s, early 80s, and just overshadowed everything Marvel ever did.
Yeah.
How would that make Len feel, who probably when he was starting out as a writer, worshiping Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and all these guys and Jack Kirby, all these
Yeah.
guys in the 60s, who he only wished to become, and then he would co-create a character that would beat them all. But yeah, he's just one of those guys that is so happy that what he created did so much and is loved by so many. And I saw that in his face when talking to him. He was just someone that just, here's this kid from Canada, because he's in the heart of Toronto, just gushing about his creations, both on a Transformer standpoint and on a Wolverine standpoint. And I'm pretty sure, again, he wasn't jaded. Again, I've met some guys. They were just
Like
they were.
like his legacy is in the business is 40 years long, I think, right? If
Oh
I'm
yeah,
counting
easily
it out
more
right.
easily,
Yeah.
easily. But it's not even so much how long his legacy is how long it's going to last.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, just having Wolverine under your belt ensures you immortality. you
Yeah.
know, it's not you created Nightcrawler, although you had a hand in him. It's not that you created Storm, although you had a hand in her. It's not that you created Swamp Thing. Wolverine, the poster child of Marvel.
Mm.
You are good. You are good. Short of a Stan Lee passing away, knock on wood. Short of a
Yeah.
Stan Lee passing away, to me, I don't feel there's any other person outside of Jack Kirby that their death is that much of a sadness to the Marvel comics and mostly the comic world, like Len Wein, in my opinion. And Len, again, all my favorite books from Marvel, with the exception of, let's say, the Ultimates, he had a big key hand in. So,
Like
and I guess Infinity Gauntlet with
like
Jim Starlin.
noticing when people were saying that he passed away, just seeing all the pictures of people that met him, that got to meet him.
Yeah, he's
There's just a lot of love, just a lot of just, oh man, I met him, he was so awesome, and just pictures, pictures,
he
pictures,
was
pictures
a
of people meeting
super
him.
super outgoing, friendly guy, which is again someone who creates very important things could be the opposite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But again, he knows that Wolverine's popularity didn't come from being first like Spider-Man or
Yeah.
Fantastic Four. Wolverine's popularity came from the fans. It came from the fans going like, "We really like this new guy on the X-Men."
Mm.
When people like Banshee and Colossus didn't get the same kind of
Love.
love. And they were enjoyed, but just not on the same level as he did, where he was just this breakout star that before you know it, there's a X-Men cartoon called Wolverine and the X-Men.
I think
But this guy, fleshed out that dude so much that I always feel there's three guys to me, from a writing standpoint, that really made Wolverine who he is today. And that's Len Wein, for the Uncanny X-Men run, more or less. Chris Claremont, which is also Uncanny X-Men, but going into the Jim Lee
right, right.
X-Men. Because the Wolverine that we knew from, let's say, the Fox stuff was more pulling from Chris Claremont's
Hmm.
stuff of Wolverine. And then most importantly,
Yeah.
Frank Miller, which any internal monologue with the Wolverine standalone series is, and later going on into the minis, Frank Miller had a big. So those three guys, and you throw in
Yep, yep,
Herb
yep.
Trimpe for visuals, but who was the first guy to draw Wolvie. But I mean, very important dude. He will be missed. Was a great guy, great old soul, and he will be
He's
missed.